lot of feedback here to get caught up on. We've thrown a lot in your direction. 248-539-9797. What's the one word you would use to describe this Michigan basketball season? We're also asking, have your expectations changed? And by that, moving forward, do you think consistent deep NCAA tournament runs? I mean, they've been competing for Big Ten titles for a while, but does it feel like, all right, time to go get, a national championship, and that's kind of where you are? This is no longer sort of, all right, Michigan makes an unexpected run, even if this was unexpected. You feel like, all right, it's got to happen. Like as a fan, hey, we deserve one of these. And I asked the question, I'm struggling with the idea that should they up what they do in the non-conference schedule in December? Beeline's formula works, but if they open up next year at home against Villanova, like say to Villanova, call them up and say, let's do a home and home. Come to our place next year, we'll go to your place in 2 years. Because I think the non-conference schedule in December, it's been brutal for fans. It's littered with Maryland Eastern Shores, Furman, schools of that ilk. And I think it kind of hurts the perception of Michigan basketball. But the formulas work for Beeline.
My question for Michigan is the same question really for Michigan State, and that is, how much longer are both of the coaches going to stay there? I mean, these guys aren't young coaches.
No. I hadn't given that much thought. So forgive me for pausing.
No, but I think it's something that fans would have to think about, because, okay, I mean, Michigan State fans, I think we think of it a lot about, okay, what happens when Izzo finally decides to hang him up at Michigan State, or was he going to go pro or whatever? And who would be the guy that takes over? And you start thinking of some names, some former Spartan assistants, and like, okay, I don't know. Is that going to carry the torch? Is that going to keep things going? And if you're Michigan or you're a Michigan fan, I mean, what's next for them? Because how old is Beeline?
Mid-60s. Yeah, he's not going to be around forever. He's done a great job. I'm sure.
Done a fantastic job.
He's 65, so he's mid-60s. Well, let's start with Beeline. I mean, I think he's probably got another 5 to 7 years in him. I don't know how much. He seems like a young 65 to me, but he's also 65, So I think he's going to be around for a while. I wouldn't expect him for another decade.
Right, and because of this season, this run, we've gotten more of a view into what his personality is and really what kind of a guy he is, and he's an awesome guy. But one of the criticisms that people would have of him is that they don't think he's got the killer instinct, because he's such a team-oriented guy. He's such an unselfish guy in wanting more for his players than for himself. Is that something that will hold him back from,
I don't know,
from being even better?
Now, as far as Izzo's concerned, look, Izzo is determined to build it back up based upon some of what he said lately. I mean, he's looking at one of the bigger challenges in his career right now based upon who he's lost and the smoke around the program, which may or may not be anything. That only time will tell on that. I have never bought, you mentioned the pros, I have never bought that he would make the jump to the NBA. I still wouldn't buy that. But would you say that perhaps this is the most vulnerable he is to leaving in his career? You wouldn't.
No, I thought that would have been close to 10 years ago when there was that talk that he was going to go to Cleveland. There was Cleveland, there was Atlanta. I think it was more to it then than there is now.
You think it was more likely then, huh?
Yeah, I don't think it's likely now. I think if anything, Izzo he's going to go out on his own terms, and he'll be done coaching, I think, college basketball and basketball altogether, I would imagine.
248-539-9797. Ticket text 97136. Let's go to John on a cell here on 97.1 The Ticket. Hi, John.
Hey, good morning, guys.
What's up?
One word, I guess, for my beloved Michigan would be opportunistic. I do feel that they got somewhat of a break in the NCAAs. Let's face it, they didn't play a higher seed, but those teams beat the higher seed. So got to take nothing away from them. I think they did a hell of a job during the Big Ten run. I would like to see them play much better teams, in their schedule, the top teams. But one thing I talked to your screener is the fact that, have you seen the recruiting classes? Yeah, Michigan's got a top 10 or whatever coming in, but Duke's got the top three the top three in a row, number one recruits.
They've got 4 of the top 8.
Yeah, 4 of the top 8. I don't know how are you going to deal with that. I know one and dones don't always win, but man, that's got to discourage you.
Yeah,
going up against these studs. I don't know how they're going to do it. I believe in Beeline. I think he's got to. I don't think he needs to change a thing. Just get the right guys and coach them up, and hopefully they'll stay.
Well, you say he doesn't need to change a thing, but you would like to see him change the non-conference scheduling.
Yes, I would. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, no, I mean, I think it's a fair question just because it feels like there's a chance here to capitalize on this run and sort of a changing expectation for Michigan basketball. And, I was trying to think in my mind, all right, how do you take this and kind of just go with it? And I think the way you take it and go with it is improve the non-conference schedule. And that means you're gonna have to do home and homes with people, which almost feels like you gotta double down. You gotta say, okay, we want Villanova, you to come in to open up Chrysler Center next year, and we'll go to your place, and then we're gonna need somebody next year because we're going to Villanova. So you have to agree to go to Florida.
A bigger national brand.
Yeah, and try and really capitalize on that. And that would work in terms of interest. But would it be the best thing for how John Beeline develops teams that win late in the year? Because the formulas worked for him. 248-539-9797. Ticket text 97136. Got something very interesting, and it is for people who buy tickets and go to games. It's a trend that you may or may not like, and it may come to Detroit. We'll get to that today at 11:20. What stands out most from last night's game? 3 of 23 from the arc. Live by the 3, die by the 3. Sucks when your team goes cold. That's from an unnamed texter. They were pretty much cold the whole tournament. They didn't shoot the ball well from the perimeter, with the exception of kind of 3 halves. The 2 halves against Texas A&M and the second half against Loyola.
No, the best 3-point shot they hit was against Houston.
Yeah, that was a big one. Wagner probably isn't improving his stock much, if at all, if he comes back, even if he isn't going first round. Mo Wagner's a perfect fit on a winning team that has time to develop his game. I say go. That's from Mike. Here's the thing, Mike. If he goes late first round, he's probably going to a winning team. If he falls out of the late first round, he's going to a terrible team.
This is true.
So it's kind of a slippery slope there. I like your logic, Doug, but sadly, NBA scouts prefer potential over finished product these days. Staying in school actually hurts his chances to get drafted. It might. The senior almost comes with a stigma.
Where have you seen Brunson going?
I haven't looked. So I have to. I just was looking at Jaren Jackson, who decided yesterday to leave, and Mo Wagner, who has a decision to make. But I have not seen Brunson. Hold on. I went to
my guess. Gator would be late first round for Brunson, a guy like him.
Here you go.
Minimal athletic ability. Like he likes that bully ball. Did you see that, by the way?
Yeah.
Gets in the post and just lowers his shoulder, his elbow, whatever he can into you.
Just for the record,
I hate guarding that guy.
That guy at open gym sucks.
Oh,
I hate
that guy. Dude. And then he's calling for fouls every time.
And Brunson was trying, hey, he got me on the arm.
Hey.
Dude, you got me in my ribs, all of them.
Hey. Because it's interesting, Steve Lavin this morning just could not heap enough. He called him the best point guard in college basketball over the last 30 years. He said aside from, probably since Bobby Hurley was his comparison.
Well,
now, I've always said, look, sometimes players are just destined to be outstanding college players, whether it be football or basketball or whatever the case is. And Bobby Hurley was an outstanding college basketball player. He doesn't always translate to being a great professional player, but I just thought that was interesting with the praise he was heaping on Brunson. The game Brunson had last night, which was not much of one, but the season he had was a great season. He's a junior. Does he come back, or is this guy a guy who's going to go with?
I don't know. I'm looking. NBA Draft.net has him late first round.